Welcome to the first official Kings Challenge. In this video, I'm going to play Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Zombies, where I have to survive a certain number of rounds with a single randomly selected weapon, a random selection of perks, and a randomly selected field upgrade and ammo mod. There's also a few other rules I've given myself, but we'll get to those later. Now let's spin the wheel and see what weapon and ammo mod I'll be using this time. For this first episode, because this might become a series, I can only use the AK-27 with the Cryo Freeze mod. This might have just made the Ursa bosses a tiny bit tougher. Just a little bit. Now let's spin for the field upgrade, which I got the Toxic Growth one on. And that will probably make the normal rounds just a little bit easier. Next up, we'll decide how many perks I'm getting and what perks I can actually use. Alright, so we landed on 3 different perks, and I've got Stamina Up, PhD Flopper, and Death Perception. Now that we have established, the baseline of what I can use, what round do I have to reach with this loadout? Okay, this should be a fairly easy start to this series, with just, a 15-round challenge. And yes, I'm saying series because I kind of want to do this with a lot of the weapons in the game, because I think this is fun. Let's look at the first try, which, I'll be honest, it is a major fuck-up on my part, because I didn't follow any of my own self-imposed rules. And I've got 5 in-game rules for this challenge. The 2 biggest ones are I have to activate the Rampage Inducer before round 2, and I have to successfully exfil for it to count as a completed challenge. I say before round 2 because in a map like Farm, you have to clear off the power generator to activate power, so I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway there with being allowed to do that before I activate the Rampage. But if it's like Ashes of the Damned, I can't get the TED head and start the car before activating the Rampage Inducer. That has to be started right away. The other 3 rules that I mentioned for the 5 rules are no gobblegums, no nukes unless everything is already dead, and random perk pickups are fine, but I'm not allowed to do the TED task and pick up the perks, which in this challenge, they're not in there because it was done it was done before season 1 when they didn't have it added to survival yet. And in this first run, as you can see, I didn't activate the Rampage Inducer until round 7. So this is just a dead run right away. Yeah! For round 2, I developed my initial strategy for this challenge. And here's the basics of how it goes. Destroy the growths and get ready to hit the power switch, but this time, I remembered to hit the Rampage Inducer. So, we have an actual run. My survival strategy is, the same as every other zombies game. Just try to keep moving around the big open area out in front of the house and the barn. Since there's so much area there, I can keep away from zombies pretty well. At the start of round 3, I'm going to open up the barn. At the start of round 4, I'll turn on the power. Then, at the start of round 5, the first Ravager round, I think, I pack-punch my AK for the first time. Once through that round, I had completely forgotten what it takes to upgrade my gun's rarity level. Or, to buy an ammo mod. So I ran in there to check that at a very bad timing, and then I got knocked trying to get out of the basement. But I still had my first self-revive, so I got back up and kept going. A couple rounds later, on round 7, I almost died again when I went to get my Cryo Freeze mod, but I was able to get out of the basement, just by the skin of my teeth. And at the beginning of round 8, I grabbed my first perk, which is Stamina Up. Round 9, I grabbed Death Perception. Then, at the beginning of round 11, I upgraded my weapon's rarity, so it hits a bit harder. And this time, I didn't get trapped in the basement. At the end of the 12th round, which is another Ravager round, I grabbed my final perk, which is PhD Flopper. And in the middle of round 14, after clearing a lot of the zombies, I grabbed my last upgrade for this run, which is the 2nd level of Pack-a-Punch. In my first official try, I've made it to the goal of round 15. Now I just have to get through it to successfully exfil.
Of hell pig in my pocket.
And here's where the game royally screws me over. When you start the exfil, it should kill everything around, even the Ursa that spawns on round 16. I've learned this now after a lot of runs. This time though, it glitched out and it didn't kill it. So I was fighting 2 bears and multiple zombies at this point, and I got fucked. I got both bears below half, then I died. So on to try number 3. I did everything basically the same as in try 2. By round 16, I had level 2 Pack-a-Punch, I'd upgraded my gun's rarity to uncommon, and I had all 3 of my perks. Going into round 16, I decided that I would kill the bear first and then call for exfil, just to be safe so I didn't have 2 bears again. That plan didn't really work out very well though, because I killed all the zombies before I killed the bear on round 16, so the exfil went away. And now I have to survive another 5 rounds to exfil, which was a mistake. And I probably should have just cut my losses and restarted for another try. I survived until round 20, but then got hit from my side by multiple zombies and died. So on to try 4. This time I screwed myself, and it's a disqualified run because I popped a gobblegum to try and get insta-kill to last a little longer for the exfil, so that I could just, rip through the bear real quick. That would have disqualified me, but I still got fucked up right at the end by a couple of zombies the second I was about to take the bear down. Then try 5, that ended about the same. I got knocked during the exfil, but got back up and just couldn't get away from the bear enough. So it just chased me down, clawed me in the back, and killed me. Try 6 is another disqualification because I popped the temporal gobblegum for a longer double points, and I still died at the exfil. Before we talk about the back half of tries, if you're enjoying the video, please hit the like button and subscribe and help me out. Also, leave a comment down there about what other challenges you want me to try. Because I know I'm still working on Doom Ultra Nightmare and Control Hardcore, but there's also stuff like stealth runs in something like Plague Tale or like Assassin's Creed or something like that, like something dumb like that I am 100% up for trying. Now let's get back to try number 7. So on the 7th try, I tried killing the bear that spawns on round 16 before hitting the exfil again, and I got fucked up trying to get my weapon to rare level and got swatted out of the air by zombies. Oops. Okay, so try 8 started the same way as every other run, but I developed a new strategy for my purchases. So let's go through this new strategy. Right away, I start with the same thing as all the other runs. Destroy the growths, hit the rage inducer, then I open the barn, turn on the power at the start of round 3. I don't get my first upgrade until the start of round 6, which is my first Ravager round this time, where I pick up the first level of Pack-a-Punch. Then I go back to just training zombies around the main area for multiple rounds. Where this strategy changes from my initial one is when I purchase perks and the second Pack-a-Punch. In the initial strategy, I purchased my perks at round 8, 9, and 12. In this revised strategy, I'm focusing on increasing my gun's killing potential first. So at the start of round 11, I purchased the second level of Pack-a-Punch before I have even opened the farmhouse. Then I went and upgraded my gun's rarity to uncommon. The key to these runs is going to be avoiding as many unnecessary purchases as possible, especially if I'm going to start letting the wheels choose maps like Astra Malorum and Ashes of the Damned, now that we have multiple maps. So that's why I haven't opened up the garage during any of these runs. At the start of round 12, my second Ravager round, I open up the farmhouse so that I have access to my not very helpful perks. Once I cleared that round and the round after, I have enough to buy both Stamina Up and Death Perception. Looking back at it, Flopper might have been better to get than Death Perception, but that's the choice I made at this time. Then I grab my Cryo Freeze mod at the start of round 15 and almost get trapped in the basement again. I snuck my way out, but it was close. Then I completed the 15th wave and started on the 16th. This time, I was able to eliminate the bear in round 16 and start the exfil, but I am disappointed in myself because as the exfil was starting up, I disqualified myself again by eating an insta-kill gobblegum because I am a freaking moron. And the other part of this is during the script writing process, I thought that try 8 was a win. and that I had recorded extra runs for some reason. So I deleted those runs, and yeah, I screwed up. So we're just going to add 3 more runs to the counter right now. And this next one is try number 12. Yeah! On try 12, I used the new strategy, but I was able to accelerate it a little bit. I shot the growths off the power pump and activated the rampage inducer. Then at the beginning of round 3, I opened the barn and turned on the power. I slipped my way out of the barn with only a few hits, and I kept moving and shooting and just working my way around. Also, I'm not going to do any of the TED tasks this time because they reward free perks. But if I do longer challenges, that might be a good idea to do a few of them. Or I can just not click on the perks and just leave it there in the box. So after surviving 2 more rounds at the beginning of round 6, I was able to pack punch my weapon for the first time before the Ravagers started to spawn. I ripped through that wave with ease and just kept surviving. I did have a close call in round 7, but I got out of there by the skin of my teeth. In round 8, I got my acceleration because a double points dropped while I still had a few zombies left, and I earned a quick 3,000 points, which got me that much closer to getting my second pack-a-punch upgrade. At the start of round 9, I ran to the basement and quickly upgraded my weapon's rarity to uncommon. Then I started my normal run around again. In the middle of round 10, I had enough points for the second pack-a-punch upgrade, which is about a round quicker than when I was able to get it in the other runs with the old strategy. After that, it was all about survival until I made a mistake on round 11. I wasn't sure what the drop was, so I tried to quick swing through the area and check it out instead of taking the safer way around, and I got knocked. But I had a self-revive, so I used that to get back up. I was kind of kicking myself for losing it for, a stupid reason, but I kept going. I completed the second Ravager wave on wave 12, and at the start of round 14, I upgraded my weapon's rarity to rare. Also at the end of round 14 and the beginning of round 15, I opened the farmhouse and had enough points to buy all 3 of my perks in Stamina, PhD Flopper, Death Perception. At the end of round 15, I quickly ran down and bought my Cryo Freeze mod, but as I ran over there, I saw the bear spawn, and only thought that went through my head was, oh shit. So I quickly grabbed my upgrade, and I just started to open up on him. I was able to sneak around him and get up the stairs before it became clogged with zombies, and I ran straight for the exfil booth and started it. I dropped a toxic growth near the farmhouse and then threw down my 2 point turrets as the Ursa boss spawned. I focused most of my fire on the boss itself and let my turrets and the toxic growth deal with the rest of the zombies. The goal was to break the weak points on the Ursa and kill it as quickly as possible so that I can just exfil and not get overwhelmed by zombies or by all the bees. And that is the first official King's Challenge successfully completed because I was able to kill everything or kill what I needed to and get out of there. I kind of want to rank all of my challenges from this coming year, and this challenge is at best a D tier challenge because with the strength of the weapon and like the low amount of rounds, I kind of flew through this one without thinking too hard or without actually being challenged other than me just messing stuff up. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe, but most importantly, I hope you have a royal day or night, and I'll talk to you later.